Mr. Rokita, 5 minutes. Floor.
Well, thank you, Chairman. It's great to be on your subcommittee. Appreciate being here. As you can tell, I'm new to the Transportation Infrastructure Committee. That might explain the gap here.
Well, this was full committee hearing here.
Right. Panel 1, where all the hubbub was, which, Secretary, that's where I had the plague. I had the plague earlier this morning, but I'm here now. I really enjoyed being this close because I got to really focus in on each of your testimonies and appreciate them. As former Indiana Secretary of State, I really look to county government to help solve our problems, just like I think Washington should be looking to the states to do the same. In fact, I was in Colorado where I learned about vote centers from one of your counties, and I know several Indiana clerks are members of NACO. But we took vote centers back to Indiana and implemented them there. It was good stuff. In that vein, I'm surprised to hear a local official like you, Commissioner Mock, look to the Federal Government almost solely to solve your problems, and that's what I got from your testimony, whether it was the clean water or the wildlife that helps, that the water helps flourish. I couldn't understand when I was listening to your testimony why you, as a elected official, feel powerless to solve these problems yourself or to go to your state legislature. Now remember, before you answer, unless Senator Gardner was wrong, and feel free to correct him, all water flows out of Colorado, right? So you're in almost a unique or particularly good situation to take care of this situation. Why won't you?
Well, like I said in my testimony, Clear Creek County does. We do take an opportunity. We work with the Watershed Foundation to clean up a lot of our waters.
What's the need? What's the need to expand this definition?
The need is the uncertainty, the regulatory uncertainty in terms of what waters are in, what waters are out, the delays in the permitting as we work through these issues.
Yeah, I want to talk about the delay. Your testimony about the delays in the permitting. This expands the jurisdiction of the agency over water. So by definition, you're going to get more permits. So how is getting more permits, because there's going to be more water under jurisdiction, going to speed up the permitting process? Well, the last thing we want to give these agencies, and I don't just mean the EPA, but they all seem pretty inept in terms of turning work product around. Why would we give them more paperwork?
And it's my understanding that this does not expand the jurisdiction of the
Clean Water Act.
Why do you think
that? Oh, doesn't expand the jurisdiction.
Does not is my understanding.
Yeah, you state that in your testimony too. But on the other hand, you suggest that the rule would protect intermittent ephemeral streams and wetlands that are currently not federally regulated. Don't these arguments contradict each other?
Well, they were once regulated before, and I think there's more certainty back then with the 2001 and 2006 court rulings. We've kind of entered this gray area now where we don't exactly understand what is and what is not. Now, I'm dealing with a small business community that's outdoor recreation centric, and the small mom and pop delis and ice cream shops that operate on the backs of the rafting companies, the outfitter companies, the people that come in to camp and recreate and fish and angle. Not having certain protections in place or not being clear to me is rolling the dice on that outdoor recreation industry. And for me, that's all I have after the Henderson mine for my community. But it's a very robust economic engine for not only Colorado but also the rest of the nation.
Why can't a county commission ordinance take care of this? Why can't you legislate this yourself?
I can't speak to the legalities. I'm not an attorney.
No,
I think
legalities,
that's a federalism
question. It's not a legality. It's called sovereignty of a state. And in your situation, sovereignty of a county. And you've been elected by people to act. And it sounds like what you're doing is saying exactly what Attorney General Pruitt was trying to get at, where there's people in this country that unfortunately think they have to be vessels of the Federal Government. And I'm going to let Attorney General Pruitt comment on that, and Secretary Putnam, we have about 30 seconds, if you can divide that. And I appreciate your testimony. I want to see if you have anything to add to this exchange we just had.
Well, I do want to provide a comment with respect to the case law just momentarily. There's been two recent decisions, the Solid Waste Agency of Northern Cook County and also the Rapinas decision that's already been highlighted. And in the Swamp decision, the court held that the Corps of Engineers exceeded its authority by attempting to regulate non-navigable, isolated interstate waters. In the Rapinos decisions, they held that the core waters must be navigable waters or at least reasonably made to be so. There's a reason for that. It's called the Interstate Commerce Clause. And this body, Congress, has authority with respect to issues that involve interstate commerce as it relates to water. If you're dealing with purely intrastate water that cannot be reasonably connected to an interstate body of water, the jurisdiction is exclusively within the states. And that's the tension here. And so when you talk about issues of federalism, I agree with you, Congressman. I believe that the states are taking, and in fact have taken, I know Oklahoma has done this, we have a robust regulatory regime. I've mentioned the Water Resources Board and the DEQ working together to deal with land use and management and water quality issues. There are issues, and I mentioned one, the Illinois River, with phosphorus load that is affecting us from Arkansas, where the EPA has jurisdiction. But we should be very leery of an approach that yields to the federal government a takeover of that land use and water quality issues that are reserved to the states presently.